We live in a world now that is really difficult. There's so much information. We're learning more about things that we never knew before, and we have to process it. It's about data reduction. It's about trying to distill certain regularities out of a very complex world. And the economic existence, our economic existence is extremely complicated. It results in the interactions of millions of people taking thousands of decisions, possibly every day. And we see that these decisions translate into movements of the economy on average, which affect us all. So that's where microeconomics actually affects macro. And with that in mind, we need to be able to make statements about causal influences in an economy. And these causal influences are often very noisy. We really have to be careful about asking for facts in the data, because the only fact we have is that the statistical office measures GDP in Germany to be 3.5 trillion euros. Okay, that's a statement. Now go do something with it to write down models that provide a very simplistic way of compressing the data and also allowing us to make causal statements, such as increasing government spending would cause an increase in gross domestic product, and even try to quantify that prediction. So a stylized fact would be a way of distilling an underlying truth out of a very noisy measurement. Okay, so one stylized fact that I can think of right now is that in a recession, unemployment rates go up. There have been some recessions where unemployment hasn't fallen, like the German recession of 2008-09. Unemployment barely fell at all. It actually kept on falling afterwards. Everywhere else in the world it went up. So there are always exceptions to a stylized fact, but the stylized fact is interesting because it's true most of the time. Another stylized fact that we use in growth, the study of economic growth, is that GDP per hour has grown secularly at a fairly steady rate for the past 250 years. You can identify a country in the class of rich countries where that doesn't hold exactly, but on average it looks like it holds. And it's a good way of guiding our selection of models, ways of organizing our thoughts on data and phenomena. And that's what we do most obviously in the case of the solo model. We've used a number of stylized facts to help us understand what kind of models have a chance at trying to explain these very complex phenomena. And in the solo model, the most outstanding example of that are the Caldor facts, which Nicholas Caldor isolated in the late 50s, early 60s. And what common features do countries like the United States, West Germany, France, and UK, but also Australia, New Zealand, in common? It's not a bad starting place for a model to focus our attention on models that actually get that right.